Good day, and welcome to another episode of Tough Talk for Tough Times. I know I've been away for a while, and let me apologize up front for taking so long to get back to spreading what I consider to be information that is vital for the times that we live in. And again, I just want to thank each of you for tuning in. And I hope you'll continue not just to tune in, but to spread the word, send this out to your contacts so we can get a wonderful following. The other day, it's something I want to drop on your spirit today. Not too long ago, my wonderful sister and I, we were hanging out together, and and as we were driving and riding along, um, the direction that the vehicle went in was different than what she thought the vehicle should go. And I'm like, Dad, this is a good direction. And she said no. And then we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then she says to me that you always want to argue. And now she's thinking that I always want to argue. And I'm thinking, no, you're the one that always wants to argue. And it kind of brought me back to a time when we were vacationing together, my family and her family, and we were at the airport. And and so first we were just checking in to come back home, and she and I were at it, going at it so much. The guy behind the counter, he says, "You all have to be brothers and sisters." And I said, "Yes, we are." He just laughed and said, because same thing with my sister. We do the same thing. We get, next day we get on the plane and whatnot because we had a layover. We get on the plane and we get back to the United States, and it's time for us to, to take our bags and recheck them. And I'm saying to her, "You don't need to recheck our bags." And she tells me, "No, you don't." And so we're arguing again. And she reminds me again, you just love to argue. Then something dawned on me after the fact. And I had to ask myself, why is it that oftentimes I find that, there is more dissension between husband and wife than there is between wife and a male that they respect who's not their spouse? And why is it that there's less dissension between a man and his wife than is between a man and a woman that he respects who's not his wife? And finally, it dawned on me, why we tend to go back and forth more with those that we are closer to than those we are not close to. And again, I want you to feel where I'm coming from. And hopefully, this will help you to minimize the verbal, altercations that you have with those that you love. Now, I know when I'm thinking, I'm gonna use my baby sister as an example in how I phrase this. I'm 5 years older than my baby sister. I am. And she's a full grown woman. She's a grown woman, lovely woman, very capable, extremely intelligent, and certainly business minded, all that stuff. She has all those attributes. But to me, she's still my younger sister. Now, she's probably looking at me and saying, well, that she know I may be intelligent and she know I may be, relatively business minded, but I'm certain that when she's looking at me and when she's talking to me, her mindset is on her intelligence and how she knows what she wants to do and how she wants it done. Now, I'm thinking to myself that my job as her older brother is to protect her because that's how I'm still viewing her. She's my younger sister, or as we would call my baby sister, even if she's a grown woman and she's married and has grown children. But in my mind, I'm still thinking that I am her older brother. So therefore, I need to protect her. So if we're driving along and whether I'm the driver or I'm not the driver, my thought process is I'm in protect her mode. That's how I'm viewing it. And that is my job is to protect her. So then I'm thinking, I'm going to tell us to go the way that I feel. And I'm not saying her way is wrong. I'm saying the way I feel is the most effective, the most expeditious, and the safest way to go. And I'm thinking not just on where someone else might be along the route, but I'm thinking of the safety in the route, whether or not it has stop signs or four-way stop signs, or whether or not it has traffic that may be blindsided when they're coming around a corner. See, I'm thinking all that stuff through. So I'm saying, yes, take this route rather than that route. Her mind is on the routes that she normally take, but yet and still, I'm in protective mode, okay? And so I imagine from our conversations that her thought point is this: you're trying to control, because like my wife will often say to me, why are you trying to control me? And I'm thinking, control you? I'm trying to protect you. And let me give you this good example right quick. And I say this with, tongue in cheek because, I don't want to be having to, debate why I say this about our private life. So you all keep this one to yourself, okay? My wife likes to, go for long walks, when the sun is that, going down, especially in the summertime, because she don't want to be out there in the heat of the day and this kind of thing. And so what she generally will do is, when the sun is about to go down, before it goes all the way down, but she's take a walk, maybe 2-3 miles, sometimes 4 miles, whatever, just to, I guess, meditate or just get exercise in. And I said to her several times, but I don't say it anymore because I realize that, it is construed as if I'm trying to control. So I would say to her, honey, you do realize that we have a treadmill in the house. You have access to a gym membership, right? Why go walking by yourself at this time of day? Her response is, I know what I'm doing. I'm grown. I've done this with you and without you. I know what I'm doing. It is true she knows what she's doing. It is true she's a grown woman. It is true we live in what we consider to be a relatively safe neighborhood. I'm telling her what time to walk, not because I'm trying to be controlling. I'm not trying to be her boss. I'm trying to be her protector. And what I'm thinking is, it is safer for you to come be out there walking when the majority of other people are walking as well. That's what's in my head. See, I'm thinking if you walk during a certain time, people are getting off work. There's more traffic, along these streets. There are more people that are out, doing things, yard work, these kind of things. So there's more folk that have eyes on you. But if you wait until after dinner time, people are in the house eating at dinner time. And after dinner time, they're kind of lounging, watching the news. So even though the sun may be still up, they're indoors. And I'm trying to get her to walk while they're outdoors. So it may come across like I'm trying to control. Really what I'm doing is trying to protect. Okay. Now, so, but there's that, that nuance of, are you controlling? Are you being argumentative? Are you trying to protect? Now, I'll go back to my younger sister, right? There is nothing I would not do. Nothing I would not do for her. My wife as well. I mean, she's my baby sister, so, be less conflict down the road, right? When it concerns my baby sister, it's nothing I would not do for her because she's my younger sister. But she always views it as me trying to tell her what to do or me arguing with her about what happened and when things happen. And it has nothing to do with that. It's all about that one thing. I feel like as a man, especially with her, as a man, I feel like I have a double responsibility, right? I have a responsibility because I'm a man. That's one thing. So being a man, that's my responsibility to be a gentleman and to try to look after her well-being, whether or not she's married, an adult, what have you. Still, I'm a man. But I'm also her brother, and I'm an older brother. So I feel a double obligation to make sure she's protected. Now, she sees that as me being bossy, but it's really not me being bossy. I'm not trying to boss her at all. I'm trying to protect her. I think the same thing holds true for relationships in general. Because I have noticed when I'm counseling women, for example, the women will come to me and I can give them advice. And their spouses could have said the same thing to them, but they will accept it better from me than from their significant other or their husband. And I'm coming to appreciate now that the reason why that's done is because they don't see me as someone who is integrally connected to their actions. So therefore, they don't see me as being someone trying to control their life because I'm not really in their life. I'm not there. I'm not there when they're cooking dinner. I'm not there when they, clean the house. I'm in a totally different city, whatever, because I'm in my own world. And so they're more ready to accept, you know, my advice because it doesn't come across from their perspective as if I'm controlling. Whereas their spouse they may see as controlling. You know, if their spouse say, "Hey, honey, listen, I know you said you're going to the mall, but it's kind of late. Don't you think it's kind of late to be going to the mall?" Well, if the spouse says it, it's like, you can't control me. But if I say it, I'm a disinterested party. So if I say it and I can say, well, it's dark outside, you got to walk to your car, blah, 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 it comes across differently. And I think that's something that we all can appreciate and we all can look at and understand the perspective of how people are seeing things. Because, ladies, here's what I hear you all say. And again, this is tough talk for tough times. Don't get mad. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Just let it digest. Let it sink in a little bit, all right? Here's what I'm told that ladies always say, I want a man that will protect me. I want a man that will be my covering. I hear women say all the time, I want a Boaz, right? Well, it's hard to be your Boaz if you think my protecting you is controlling you. I can tell you, I don't want to control anybody, but I do want to protect you. And I think that most husbands want to protect their wives. I really do. I think they want to protect their wives. I think the average gentleman who's a gentleman, if he is in a relationship with a woman, he wants to protect her. Now, that doesn't mean he wants to control her. It means I want what's best for you, and I'm only telling you what I think is best. It doesn't mean I necessarily know what's best. I'm telling you what I think is best. And in terms of whether or not I think it will be a protective measure, I'm trying to cover you. I'm trying to be the covering for you so that you will be in an environment that is less likely to bring you harm. And because I feel like, I know the streets, I've been there, I've been out there in the world, and not saying that women have not, but I'm just saying, as a man, I'm saying I've been out there. I want to protect you from that which I have gone through. I don't want you to have to experience the problems I experienced. I don't want you to feel the fire to know that it's hot. So I want you to avoid the fire. And that's why I'm giving you the direction, not control, but just simply that. So the debate, the back and forth, the argument, that kind of stuff that starts out real small, but then blows up into something big is not because the men are trying to be bullheaded. It's not because we're trying to control. Because in fact, everyone wants things their way. The question is, what's the intent? Is my intent to want it my way so that you will be subservient to me? Or is it my intent to want it my way because I want what's best for you? That's the thing you have to think about. And I would venture to say to you that the average Christian man, and not even some men who are not Christians, but the average man that you have selected, you ladies, you selected that man. You selected that man saying what? This is a good man, right? It's true, my sister did not select me. No, she didn't, because you can't select your family. You can only select your friends. But here's what she ought to know. I would never do or say anything that would intentionally put her in harm's way. I'm always trying to be her protector, even though I know her husband is protecting her as well. But that's the thing, what we always say, blood thicker than water. And that's how that goes. And it's the same thing in other relationships. You can apply that same dynamic to your marriage. You can apply that same dynamic if you're dating someone. You can apply that same dynamic because oftentimes what happens is we don't necessarily, and y'all, I apologize for the phone ringing, but I'm still on call, all right, for a few things. We don't always like to take advice from our significant others. But I'll tell you, the issue is not whether or not I like it, but is the advice really good? And if there is no harm in doing it the way they advise, if I'm driving from one city to another city and there is no harm in me letting my wife drive one way, why should I get angry and tell her, no, don't take this road, take the other road? if it's only going to save me 2 or 3 minutes or whatever, okay, I'm in the car with you, and I'm going to protect you. So that is what it is. So I'm just saying to you, when you think about those debates, when you think about those things, listen, the question you have to always ask yourself is this: what is the person's intention? Are they really saying what they're saying to get under my skin? Are they really saying it to be difficult? Or are they saying it because of the role that they have? All right. That will help you not go back and forth so much when you understand that, you know what? The reason why he's doing it this way or the reason why she's doing it that way is because of the role that they are in. The role of that husband, the role that the Bible says he ought to play, the role that society says they want that man to play is the role of being the protector of his family. That's the role. And if I'm trying to protect you from the evils of the world and the harm, let me protect you. Let me protect you from those things that I feel will bring you down. Listen, I don't want you to bear the burden on your shoulders. I don't want you to be the individual that has to take all that weight. Let the man take the weight. Let him take it. Let him take it. And it might not be what you think ought to be done, but that's okay. Because you know what? There's more than one way to skin a cat, right? It's more than one way to do it. And it may not be your way, but that don't mean it's the wrong way. It just means it's a different way. And the same thing works in reverse, guys. The same thing. Sometimes your wife will tell you something, and the first thing we do is blow up and say, you can't tell me what to do. And you know what? Yes, she can. You may not want to do what she said, but she has a right to tell you anyway. So here's what I'm saying, though. Why blow up? Why blow up? Because maybe she's telling you that because she's in a protective mode. Let's face it. Women are natural nurturers. That's what they are. Natural nurturers. So what they're always doing is this. That nurturing part of them, even though you've grown, even though you're a man, and even though you got all that muscles and all this kind of stuff, the idea of nurturing does not leave them. So they're still trying to protect us at all costs. They're always trying to protect us. So when you think about it that way, when you really take it and say, wait a minute, I get it. What you're saying is not because you're trying to be domineering. What you're telling me is because you want to make sure I'm all right. I may not agree with it, but you want me to be all right. And even if I don't do what you said do, why argue with a person that's trying to help you? Why not just say, thank you, honey? Thank you. I appreciate you looking out for it, brother. I appreciate that. So remember, tough times, tough talk with tough times. Don't let the little thing become a big thing. And remember, it's not what the person says. It is the intent behind what they say. And for most of us, our intention is not to harm. It's to protect and to help. So listen, just let that be your guide the next time something comes up. Listen, send me your comments. Tell me what you think about the conversation on today. And I heard some of your comments. People have said, Doc, modernize this thing. Talk about some topics that are relevant today that not necessarily have to do with relationships, but about what's going on in the world today. Next up, we're going to talk about the war that's going on in the Middle East and how that affects us globally and whether or not that's a sign that we're in the last times. Because I can tell you right now, it's looking touch and go. It's looking touch and go. If Iran gets involved with Israel, and if someone else gets involved, and someone else gets involved, and the Middle East becomes a cow to peg, you better watch out. Revelations. God bless you. May heaven continue to smile upon you. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you soon.